let's talk about stress. What is stress? There's so much around us. In simple terms, it's an imbalance between demands that are made on us and our personal resources, right? So, some of the personal resources we might have are physical health, our skills and experiences, our attitudes and beliefs, our emotional makeup, our social supports, our ability to relax, right? So, this is what we consider personal resources. What are some of the demands that are placed on us as human beings? Well, we have demands of everyday life, right? So this could be emotional demands, this might be professional, relationship, financial, social. Then we have demands such as adjustment to new situations. So that could be work, employment, illness, separation. So that kind of change and adjusting to change. That's one of the demands. Then it's about attitudes and expectations of ourselves and of others. So that's another demand that it's really important and really prominent in our lives. So when there is an imbalance and when the personal resources that we have do not meet the demand that is placed on us, that's when we experience stress. So every day and normally we kind of manage this and we somehow are able to balance the two. But there are times where it's a little bit trickier to do it. So you might have a situation where one of your personal resources is just not quite there, right? So you might be experiencing some emotional health issues, and yet the demands stay the same or they increase. And when they're in balance, when there isn't that imbalance, that's when we start feeling really, really stressed. Okay, so what can we do about that? Well, let's acknowledge that some stress is actually quite useful. And some stress can make us feel more focused, give us more energy, and make us more productive and help us to get going, right? So we can problem solve some of those demands that are placed on us. We can also anticipate stress, and that's in order to prevent it. So, if when we anticipate stress, we can say, okay, these are the demands, but these are the things that I can do to create more of that balance. So, whether that's increasing our emotional health, physical health, or maybe social support. So, we are anticipating the demands that are going to be coming through, and we're able to then meet them on time so that that imbalance does not occur, or if it does occur, that it's not too big. Also, when we get stressed, one of the things that we tend to do is just withdraw from our social support. It's really important not to do that. And also, we need to continue keeping our relaxation time, self-care time, self-compassion time, whatever you want to call it, but just time when we are looking after ourselves. Okay. We can also identify what are our optimal levels of stress. Okay, so what is it that we can cope with and be not pressured beyond that point, right? So learning how to say no and knowing our boundaries and what our limits are in terms of that resources is going to help us to maintain that balance too. We can also reduce the demands. And the way of doing that is breaking down goals and also be very much aware of our self-talk and trying our harder not to judge ourselves and not to have unreasonable expectations of ourselves. Okay, so always be aware. The first step is always to be aware of what's actually happening right now that's creating that stress. Are some of the personal resources that are being compromised here, or is it the problem with the demands that are placed on me? And once you have that in front of you, it seems more manageable. And then you can look at what is it that you can do. Do you need to increase your personal resources? Or do you need to create some change and reduce the demands? Or is it a matter of two? Because ultimately, you want to spend as much time as you can in a balanced way, right? Because that's really good for your mental health. And if you don't, then you might find yourself in a bit of a pickle. I hope it goes well.